Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Terra Invicta, playing as the Resistance. In the last video, the aliens landed their armies on Earth around Poland, and we fought them off. A third craft is on its way, but we have a welcoming committee already on the way. It shouldn't be too hard to fight them off as well. Turns out, if they land in your own territory and you have a lot of relatively advanced armies and you can get the numbers advantage and get there before they unload their troops, you've got a huge advantage and you can take these guys out. Your worst case scenario is if they land in, I don't know, someplace like Kathmandu and you get nuked by China. Yeah, don't worry about that. If you can get them to land here, though, it's a lot easier. So at this point, I think we're kind of accepting that we are in a permanent state of war with the aliens, which is obviously a little bit scary, but this is the next phase of the game. I'm going to start building out a lot of larger stations around Mercury, Earth, Mars in particular. We're going to start building up some defensive fleets. Nothing bigger than that right now, because I don't have the access to go and take them on in their own bases, but at least defending the planets, we can do something there. The only thing that gives me pause right now is we do still have 2 enemy motherships just hovering around Earth, and they have enough firepower that they can wipe out anything I've built so far. That's the thing I am the most scared about. So if we can avoid that, though, that would be fantastic. Around Mars, let's go ahead and pop out into the different map mode over here. We do have a fortress station for some shipyards, but it's not finished yet. This station here has some shipyards being constructed. We just need to wait for our fusion reactor farms to be done in a couple of months. Once that's finished, I'm hoping I can build up a few very quick defensive ships, because I know that the enemy is sending a couple of ships over here to Mars, and if they can wipe this station out, they certainly will do so. Now, some aliens did just arrive around Europa. I don't know if they're going to destroy this platform or not. If we can hold out until May, I'll happily use this construction module to build some more stuff down there, especially a ground base that's going to be harder for the aliens to access, unless they decide to bombard the planet, which they might do. But I don't want to start building anything down there until I have this module, otherwise it's just too long of a commitment. So if they don't attack me in the next 2 months, awesome, we're going to have a base in Jupiter. If they do destroy it, well, that's horribly unfortunate, and it means the entire trip out there was kind of a waste, but so be it. And the answer is yes, they immediately destroyed it. Great! Finish with the mind and machine tech in the life sciences department. You know, I think I know one thing I want to work towards. Since we're going full out in war, I want to learn how to make dreadnoughts. I feel like that would be really good. Or maybe if not that, then at least like a Lancer. But I bet you they're all under the same technology, and I don't think I've unlocked that yet. Is there a way for me to search for this? Not that I know of. There's gotta be a way to find where the bigger, better ships are going to be. Come on, they gotta be here somewhere. Ships of the line? Is this what I'm looking for? Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so I need to find out what it takes to get this tech. And the answer is I am lacking next generation aerospace, advanced chemical rocketry. Oh, I kind of ignored this up to this point, but okay, we can pick this up really fast. Get the next generation aerospace, get the improved shipbuilding techniques. That leads to the ships of the line. Then we can get some super heavy cannons. Plus, we'll be able to get dreadnoughts and lancers, 2 very large, super heavy capital ships that'll do a lot of damage. Yeah, I want to get these. Okay, at this point, we have dealt with literally all of the aliens. So y'all know what this means. It means it is time for you all to go home. As a reminder, the reason we care about that is because when you have deployed armies, it reduces your investment points back home. So ideally, you want to have the armies stationed whenever they're not actively in use. Okay, for the United Kingdom, let's go ahead and unify them with Australia. We can free up a lot of our governing cap by doing so. Bada boom, that's one less nation I have to worry about. And we're going to end up doing the exact same thing in the United States. Now that we have dealt with the alien threat, I don't feel so bad about resetting our U.S. Military tech down a few levels. And it's going to hurt in Mexico, like, don't get me wrong. We're going to go down from 6.1 to only 6? No, 5.6. Hey, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Woo! Okay. Yeah, great. The important thing is, that is a giant super state of North America. And that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. We can get back up to 6.0 pretty quick. Hey! Not bad, not bad. We get that entire GDP. I got a lot of things I'm going to have to figure out, you know, like actually fix the nation and some of our unity and whatever else it's going to be. Actually, we're down to 9.4. Hegemonic cohesion. That's not what I want. No. We need to invest a bit more in knowledge and stuff. But yeah, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Cool. All right, that's 2 less nations that I have to worry about managing. And that frees up quite a bit of our control points. If we want to start conquering, let's say, the rest of Scandinavia and adding that into the fold, we can do that now. We're also almost done with unifying as much of the Commonwealth as we can. The only thing I'm actively losing right now, I think, is New Zealand. The rest is going to stay in the United States of North America. So if I can grab New Zealand, then there's really not much incentive to hold on to the UK. We could actually integrate it into the European Union and create one giant superstate that actually stretches into Africa and, you know, Southeast Asia, Oceania. Which is kind of a little silly, but I mean, it'd be kind of cool to do. Now, as far as all of our habs, you might think that I want to immediately upgrade everything to the maximum tier, and that's tempting. I'm kind of holding out hope that we can get some manufacturing complexes first. It's going to take a little while, but I think it'll ultimately end up being cheaper to just go ahead and do that. I mean, we could just replace all these nano factories now, but at this point, if we wait until the factory complex is done, I should be able to build these all out pretty quick, right? Just go for a lot of big upgrades. So I figure around every planet, the big goal right now is to just have at least one factory complex. What is it called, actually? Manufacturing, that's it. Complex around every planet so I can start upgrading everything to Tier 3 very, very quickly. Okay, now 2 small little enemy ships just arrived in Mars orbit. That's something that scares me because they're coming close to this station. And I have not been able to build out any meaningful defenses. We do have some layered defense arrays with green phasers, plasma batteries, and so on. That's something, but unfortunately, a lot of them are unpowered because I was in the process of going for some big upgrades. And these will be done in literally, like, 10 days. So if they hold off on attacking for 10 days, we'll be okay. But if they attack it, we'll see. Now, the good news is it has enough attack power that combined it's stronger than they are. So that might be enough to give the AI pause. And if they do pause, I can just sort of cement and entrench my position. And they did. Boom, we've now got space works and defenses all over the Mars Fortress Station. Alrighty, so how are you looking now, out of curiosity? This sucker is pretty strong with big honkin' battle stations. 58 defensive modules on these things? Jeezums, is that correct? Wow, all right, so these things are pretty powerful, it turns out. Yeah, it's now up to 3,000 defensive power. 3,000 defensive power. This thing can survive potentially a mothership. I mean, maybe not. And it's not even in its final form. I can get more battle stations on here. But most importantly, I can now build some ships. I just wish I could get these motherships out of here. If I could, I honestly would be very tempted to start taking some fleets and running around and destroying everything in low Earth orbit. But unfortunately, they're just sitting there and scaring me off. It's fine, though. It's fine. Good lord. Getting some of these Tier 3 mining complexes is resulting in a load of materials. We're now producing 200 metals per month at this Tier 3 complex. Yeah, now we're making lots of base metals. If I can do this in a lot of different locations, that will be huge. Couple more ships built and ready to go, launching into the battle group Terra Fleet. That brings us up to about 2,000 combat power. Still not enough to take on 2 motherships, but certainly enough to give the aliens pause in a lot of cases. I want to take these guys out for a freaking test run and have some fun with them, you know? But, I don't see that going well for me. Why do they have to bring 2 motherships, you know? Don't you have more important things to do? Like on the rim or something? You know, something that amazes me is we still have not found any particularly good sources of fissile materials in, like, the entire solar system. Still. I mean, I haven't, you know, fully researched the Jovian system. Sure, that's a thing. But, like, Luna still remains one of the best places to get some fissile materials. I'm really glad I snagged that as early as I did. I think it was a bit of a risk in the early game since fissile materials have kind of limited usage for at least a while, but it's paid off in a big way. Maybe we should go ahead and start working on the choke point. I want to learn a bit more about our end game goal here. Find out what's going on. This is going to take a little while, yeah, but that's probably fine. We can toss a bit of extra research into this. Yeah, it slows everything else down, but it shaves off several months here. I think that's worth it. I want to find out what the overall end game objective is. I have a pretty decent idea in my head just from the context clues we've received up to this point, but having a hard objective to look at would be pretty nice. Ultraviolet combat lasers. Beautiful. All right, so that should be the top tier laser that I'm able to access now. Ultraviolet phasers would also be pretty darn good, so I like the idea of picking those up. What else do we need as far as some additional tech? Missile warfare, you know, we could learn how to make some nuclear torpedoes. And even though it's very difficult to burn through an alien's point defense system, if we could get enough nuclear torpedoes in space by a bunch of cheap little destroyers, we might be able to bum rush a few of those motherships. It's not a very good plan, but it's kind of a backup plan, and that's good enough for me. Of course, now I have way too many technologies invested in military. Whoops, but it's fine. It's fine. First round of Syracuse battleships have been built around Mars, so now we have 4 of those sitting around. That is Battle Group Mars, or I don't know, is there a different name we could give this? Nah, Battle Group Mars is fine. Regardless, that's like, I don't know, 900 or so fleet power sitting there ready to defend the planet, on top of a really powerful station. Not bad. Another coup in India? That's like the 5th one this game. Well done, humanity first. I would say it's up for grabs, and now's a good time to go ahead and get it, but it's so far behind everything else I'm working on. I just don't know if it's worth trying to pick up India at this point. Fragmented society, authoritarian government, very far behind on the development index. At least it's got some military tech, extremely high poverty. Yeah. I don't know. Between the several different coups and wars that have occurred, it seems like people have run India into the ground. I'm not sure it's worth picking up. China, maybe, but not India. Okay, a bunch of manufacturing complexes in Mercury are done, plus we should have a bunch of Tier 3 modules coming up as well. So, we're currently bleeding an absolute ton of money. I would have liked to think that these are going to help me on that, but they probably won't. We're going to be going through a pretty nasty reset on our economy while I get a lot of these things upgraded. And it's going to take a fair while. What I might have to do at some point is try to find either some other factions or maybe sell some resources on Earth in order to generate some cash. Which I hate to do because, like, I'd rather keep all this stuff for myself. But if that's necessary to keep me afloat while I get my economy fixed, you know, okay, so be it. Still takes 116 days to build these dang nanofactories, even with some help from existing ones nearby. That's really expensive, and it's going to take a very, very, very long time. Ugh. But we did manage to build at least a few more of them, and all of a sudden, my complete lack of money seems to have partially solved itself. Well, that's really helpful. Okay, I'm also losing a lot of water and volatiles. If I don't find a way to start getting more of that, especially on Mars, we're gonna be in a bit of trouble. So we have our improved shipbuilding techniques. Now I'm working toward ships of the line. I just need to discover that research and we'll be good. So a dreadnought has 8 hull weapons and 3 nose weapons. Wow, that's gonna be fun. Lancer has 4 nose, 3 hull, but I'm pretty sure it's good if you want to have a giant railgun attached to it, which is pretty awesome. Good for long-range combat. Yeah. Okay. Well, nothing we can do until that reveals itself, but pretty soon, I'm hoping we're going to start building the really big ships. Let's go ahead and start researching antimatter. I'm not positive that this is going to end up being like my long-term plan, but even the ability to capture some antimatter could be kind of fun for us. It leads to some pretty awesome techs. Very expensive techs, mind you, but, you know, pretty fun stuff nonetheless. I'm kind of amazed the aliens haven't been really reacting. Oh, hello, hang on. Okay, global energy crisis, a sudden and dramatic spike in energy prices is pushing the economies to the brink. Uh-oh. Okay, so all nations under our control suffer a GDP loss and inequality increase, which is modified by having lots of local oil, fission, and fusion tech. So I have some of this, however, I haven't apparently researched some of the techs I would need to do some cool stuff. For example, I can't spend a huge number of volatiles in order to reduce the impact, nor did I end up getting the nuclear fission or fusion and tech space complete. That doesn't sound right. I should have that. No, I definitely do have that. What I don't have is a ridiculous amount of money. Oh, no. All right. So how bad is the impact exactly, out of curiosity? I mean, the US appears to be doing just fine out of the arrangement, but it also produces lots of natural gas and oil. The EU just snagged Norway, so we should be able to produce a fair bit here as well. The inequality has definitely jumped, though. That is for absolute sure. Yeah, the US as well. Okay, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. And, of course, the Eurasian Union got hit really, really hard. Got it. What about the UK? Oh, God, yeah, okay. Not good there either. Yeah, okay. Well, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But, you know, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Anyway, what I was going to say is I'm surprised we're not seeing any retaliation from the aliens so far. Not just from destroying their armies. I'm pretty sure that they don't ever really react if you destroy their armies in a fair fight. However, I've built up a lot more mission control. We're jumping up to 226 now. And I'm trying to expand even more stations, yet it says we're still at level 4. I don't know how accurate this is, but even with motherships in orbit, they're not actively attacking me, which makes me think we're not considered to be in an active war state. So, weirdly enough, the aliens are letting me build up kind of a lot more. I don't know if that means that I've been way too passive in the past, or if something is up. But it's interesting, ain't it? There's the Ships of the Line project. Alrighty, big firepower coming in. Good lord, Project Exodus, get the heck out of the UK. What are you doing? Oh, finally, a bunch of manufacturing complexes finished. And all of a sudden, I jumped from -60 up to +84 in terms of money. Oh, there we go. That'll help. Well, this is going to cap me out as far as my mission control, at least for a bit. I'm going for massive colony expansion all over Mars. And the goal of that is to simply get as much water, volatiles, and such as possible, so that we'll be able to build a lot more ships and also continue expanding, let's say, my operations center, my nanofactory, so I can get even more of these things, etc., etc. So, honestly, oh, and we've also finished the choke point. So, honestly, we are kind of ending, I think, or at least we're in the final stretch for the last great space expansion. Most of my stuff, I'd say over half of it at this point, is getting upgraded to Tier 3. Once we've got that, pretty much all remaining mission control has to go to ships. The choke point! Further study of the Hydro wormhole confirms that it closely follows the rules first set in Homer G. Ellis's 1969 drain hole theory. Two circular planes connected at the center by two smaller circles of equal diameter, like two symbols touching, or the central part of an hourglass. Gravity flows in a single direction, emptying any matter that passes through it into the other side. That means that traveling from the origin side requires far less energy than traveling in the opposite direction. Interesting. So they can come here, but not so much the other way back? Is that how it works? Or is it the other thing? Right, they're sending stuff back to their homeworld, but it's hard to send more through. Interesting. The simplest method of neutralizing the alien threat would appear to be closing or destroying the wormhole. Okay, in practice, that'll be difficult. Right. So with this, we have studied, discussed, and discarded a dozen plans. The deciding factor is ultimately risk. What is the easiest way to guarantee we can get rid of this thing? We don't have any grasp on how they make wormholes. We're just sort of assuming that it'll be very difficult for them to make another, if not impossible. So shutting it down would be good for us. So how are we going to get rid of it? Bombarding the base into dust may not solve the issue. But if we can attack it from both sides at once, developing exotics-based payloads, so presumably bombs of sorts, on both sides of the wormhole, we can theoretically destroy it. However, we should assume that pretty much none of the volunteers are coming back. This is a suicide mission to save humanity. The final assault. Okay, that's gonna be fun. So you're telling me, though, we have to actually go to the wormhole, which means I'm gonna need a pretty massive fleet to go and actually chase the aliens out of our space, find their base, surround it with our ships, and then launch a suicide mission to destroy the wormhole and thus save everyone. Well, that's gonna be fun to deal with. I feel like we're really being held hostage by the existence of these two motherships. I am debating trying something kind of crazy. Now that we do have access to torpedoes, special, better missiles, maybe we can research some nukes. And with those nukes, I can create a whole mess of sacrificial ships with the hope that I can basically just launch so many torpedoes that there's no chance that the motherships can handle it. If I can just break that stranglehold, I'll be happy to use the fleet that I've built up to start clearing out the aliens and take the fight to them. That's what I want to do, dang it. So what about like these Hades nuclear or Cerberus nuclear torpedoes? Doesn't take me more than a couple of days to research this, honestly. All right, there's the nukes. So let's design a very sacrificial ship. What about something like this? And I could call it the Hail Mary class escort. We'd be using an Orion drive, which is basically a bunch of nukes for extremely high combat acceleration, 4 Gs. Kind of a lot there. We don't really care about its cruise delta V because this is an extremely sacrificial ship. It doesn't even need to have things like a radiator or a heat sink. It's just a load of Nemesis nuclear torpedo bays with tons of magazines so we can fire a ridiculous number of them, hopefully before they die, plus some armor to give them a very brief chance to possibly get off a few extra shots. Is this insane? It might work, though. Let's try it. Oh, turns out it needs to have a radiator. Fine, we'll use a really cheap one, I don't care. And I actually just got a tech not long ago that boosts up my build speed for ships by 25%. So these things should be relatively quick, right? Oh yeah, only 34 days. Ooh, guys. If I could have 12 of these in 3 months, could we fire enough nukes to actually clear out the motherships? That would be such a devastating blow. The command center. I've actually been looking for this, but here's the thing. There are so many of these social sciences techs once you have the ability to unlock new nations. It's so easy to lose track of things. Anyway, so now we can actually build a tier 3 version of the Ops Center and get even more mission control. That is something we will benefit from a lot. Oh, here's something interesting. I didn't notice this. All of my nations have unlocked a new item in their budget, and they've automatically invested the maximum amount toward it. Space defenses down here at the bottom. Looks like some sort of a surface-to-orbit weapons array. Huh. So it protects against alien landings and nuclear strikes, and shoots back at fleets if they do an orbital bombardment. Out of curiosity, is there a reason you can't just shoot them out of the sky preemptively? I mean, that would be better. Oh, what? Oh, right. There was another one of these ships on the way, wasn't there? Right. Okay, it's landing in the European Union. Well, gosh, if you guys want to keep landing in the EU, I'm fine with that. That's a-okay with me. So, sure, let's go ahead and deploy all of our troops to go and intercept and give them a good old-fashioned Earth welcome. Space defenses are online in Washington, D.C. Cool looking stuff. All right, so we're protected there now at least. Oh, is that what this symbol is right here? Cool. The aliens have landed once again, 3 armies, but this time the power of the European Union and Britain are sitting there ready to deal with them. No need for help from the Americans, I don't think. We should be able to handle this on our own. Okay, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is 12 escorts loaded with nuclear torpedoes, ready to go. And the aliens just lost their invasion of the European Union, so maybe now's the time to put the nail in the coffin. Give this one a go. The question is, do I bring the big ships along, or do I just send in a swarm of tiny ships and pray? I kind of want to try the tiny ships. I mean, that way I kind of limit my potential losses, you know? Though I imagine this is going to make them really angry. All right, we're going to intercept the motherships. Oh, boy. Okay, as far as how quickly we get there, this should only take me a couple of hours. Yeah, here goes nothing. They brought in a 5th ship. Oh, great. So now they're up to 4,000 fleet power. Yeah. All right. This is either going to go amazingly or horribly. Let's engage and find out. All right, we've got an evasive maneuver pattern going on here to try and distract them as much as possible. I'm going to take pretty much everything I've got and say the focus here is on, let's say, the Resonant Echo. And then I'm probably going to go through each of these ships and just tell them that I want them to lock on specifically to their target. Keep the nose facing toward them in case they fire a long-range laser. I don't want these ships getting melted any faster than they absolutely have to. Admittedly, this is kind of a lot of torpedoes being dispersed here. Holy crud. I guess we're gonna... They got a lot of their own, to be honest. That is so many torpedoes. Look at this! This is such a mess, and we have 0 point defense. This is absolutely what we call a suicide mission. We've got a lot of torpedoes heading toward that. Can we change target now toward the Resolute Justice instead? And hopefully some of these missiles get through. All I care about is destroying the motherships. If all these ships get destroyed and we just destroy the 2 motherships and the rest survive, I don't care. That's completely fine. So are any of these getting through here? They're getting closer. Oh, big nukes! Big nukes! Yes! Yes! That's the 2 motherships gone! That is humanity's official declaration of war, xeno scum. Okay, now, you guys just target whatever the frick you want. I no longer care. Actually, I think we're completely out of torpedoes. There's nothing left. Okay, how do I run away if I want to? I will tell all of my ships to disengage on the off chance any of them are able to get out of this mess, but I really, really doubt it. Alternatively, turn them around and just ramming speed these things, but Somehow I feel like that's probably not the sportsman way to go with this. Anyway, good luck, guys. I hope y'all make it out. I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing this game for a very long time at this point. This is perhaps the most exciting moment I've actually run into, and it was a suicide run. But the stakes! Oh man, it makes it fun. Amazingly, one of the ships got away completely unscathed, the other managed to limp out of here. But there we go. The 2 motherships gone? Oh yes. Oh, and you can see up here, they're very, very angry with me. Yes, I wonder how that happened. But we no longer care. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is now time to unleash Battlefleet Terra and clean these aliens out of our system. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I'd ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.